What's a childhood fear you dismissed as irrational but now makes total sense? So when I was around 7, my family moved into a new house. It was nice, had a big backyard that led right into these woods. Not like dense forest or anything, just enough trees that you couldn't see through to the other side. I literally refused to go anywhere near it. From literally the first night we moved in, I was terrified of those woods. Not just normal kids scared of the dark stuff. Like I refused to even look out my bedroom window after sunset, because it faced the tree line. I would literally sleep with my head at the foot of my bed so I wouldn't accidentally see the woods if I woke up at night. Sometimes I'd wake up in the middle of the night, convinced someone was staring at me through my window, and I'd hide under my blankets shaking until morning. My parents thought it was just me being dramatic. My dad would constantly be like, "There's nothing in those woods that can hurt you." And my mom would try to get me to face my fears by making me play in the yard. My brother Josh, he's 4 years older, was the worst about it and would make up stories about the woods people watching me through my window. He'd sneak up behind me and whisper, "They're coming to get you." And I'd literally have nightmares for days after. The thing is, I never saw anything specific that scared me. It wasn't like I saw a ghost or a monster or whatever. It was just this overwhelming feeling of being watched whenever I was near the woods. Like I'd be playing in the yard and suddenly get this intense feeling that someone was staring at me from between the trees. The hair on my arms would stand up, my stomach would drop, and I'd literally freeze up and then run back inside crying. My mom would get so frustrated because I couldn't explain why I was scared. This fear started affecting everything. I stopped wanting to play outside at all. I'd refuse to go to friends' houses if they lived near wooded areas. I started having these recurring nightmares about a shadowy figure watching me from the trees. My grades started dropping because I was so tired from not sleeping properly. My parents took me to a child psychologist when I was 9 because it was getting worse instead of better. The doctor said it was probably just an anxiety thing, and I'd grow out of it. She suggested exposure therapy, which basically meant my parents forced me to spend time near the woods every day. It was literally torture for me, and I'd have full meltdowns. Like hyperventilating, crying so hard I'd throw up, begging them not to make me go outside. They'd set a timer for just 5 minutes at first, but those were the longest 5 minutes of my life, every single day. When I was 11, we got this dog named Roger. He was a German Shepherd mix and super protective. The weird thing was, Roger hated those woods too. He would stand at the edge of our yard and just bark at nothing. His fur would stand up and he'd growl at the trees like he could see something we couldn't. My parents said he was just picking up on my anxiety, but IDK, it made me feel validated. Roger would sleep in my room and somehow that made me feel safer. By the time I was a teenager, I'd basically learned to live with it. I still wouldn't go into the woods, but I could at least look out my window without having a panic attack. My parents counted that as a win and stopped pushing the issue. I learned to hide how much it still bothered me because I was tired of being called dramatic. When I moved away for college, I was honestly so relieved to be somewhere without trees, lol. My roommate thought it was weird that I specifically requested a room that didn't face any wooded areas. Fast forward to last month. My parents still live in the same house, and I was visiting for my mom's birthday. We were having coffee on the back porch, and I mentioned how weird it was that I used to be so scared of the woods. I was actually kind of laughing about it, like, remember how crazy I was about those trees? My mom got this strange look on her face and was like, "Oh, you don't know?" And I was like, Turns out, the police found out that a man had been living in a hidden underground bunker in those woods. Like, literally a few hundred feet from our property line. He had been there the entire time we lived there, including when I was having my worst fear phases. The police only found him because a hiker's dog, not our Roger, discovered the hidden entrance. The guy was arrested for a bunch of stuff I won't detail here, but apparently he had been watching houses on the edge of the woods, including ours. My parents never told me because they thought it would traumatize me even more. They figured since the guy was caught and I was starting to get better with my fear, why bring it up? I just sat there in total shock.